Welcome back to a brand new episode of the MMA Business Hour. In today's episode, we're going to discuss the predictions for the main card of UFC 287. Okay, the first fight of UFC 287 is Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Rosas Jr. is an 18-year-old prospect who is the next best thing in the UFC. The fact that the UFC is putting him on the main pay-per-view card shows they want to give this kid some shine. And they didn't do him any favors necessarily in the matchup against Christian Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez is a very talented fighter. He had an amazing fight with Jonathan Pierce, who's an extremely tough UFC fighter. Christian Rodriguez also has a lot of weapons. He's got knees, he does flying knees, he got really sharp elbows from the clinch. It'll be really interesting to see if Rosas Jr. is going to be able to get him down onto the ground. In the face-off yesterday, Rosas Jr. is a lot bigger than Christian Rodriguez. And I think that's going to play into his favor with his jiu-jitsu, because that's his only real path to victory. Rosas Jr. is not anyone who's going to beat anyone with his hands at this point in his career. But he is excellent on the ground. He's got good wrestling, he's got good takedowns, and he's got really good jiu-jitsu. But Christian Rodriguez is a tough guy. So if Christian Rodriguez is able to keep this fight on the feet, he has a chance to win this fight. But I do think ultimately Rosas Jr.'s jiu-jitsu is going to be able to overwhelm Christian Rodriguez as the fight goes on. Because Rosas Jr. will go after the takedowns the entire fight. He won't give up. He will throw punches to get inside, to get his opponent down on the ground. And once he's got his hands locked and is able to put people on their butt, he's really good at taking the back and getting that rear naked choke. So for the first fight, I'm going with Rosas Jr. at the minus 250 odds. He's a great parlay piece. I don't know if I would want to lay down the minus 250 on him straight up, but to add him to a parlay with Yanez or maybe Alex Pereira, that'll give you a little juice if you're going to lay down some bets this weekend. The next fight I want to talk about is Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. I originally thought that Kevin Holland was just kind of going to walk through Ponzinibbio, who has looked really old in his last few fights. His gas tank is not what it used to be back in 2016 and 2017 when he was crushing dudes. As of late, he tends to gas out a lot. The dude is super muscular, so those arms fill up with blood really easily as the fight goes on, and his shots get really labored. And Kevin Holland has great karate and kickboxing, so I originally thought Kevin Holland was going to be able to piece up Ponzinibbio for the majority of the fight and either get a finish or win pretty easily, like a 30-27 decision. But as the week has gotten, we've gotten closer to fight night, Kevin Holland has been really distracted. Even at the press conference, he just seems like he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't really want to be there. Then he's starting shit with Masvidal. It's like, Ponzinibbio is not a guy you can sleep on, man. And Kevin Holland, he's going to have a fight on his hands. I mean, to take Ponzinibbio lightly and get into all these altercations at the hotel with Jorge Masvidal is just stupid in my opinion. So I was going to put Holland on some parlay pieces, but I'd rather just do like a Adrian Yanez Rosas Jr. parlay and then maybe keep Kevin Holland out of it. I really think Kevin should win this fight. I'm still going to predict him to win this fight, but Ponzinibbio, I think to win by decision is like plus 400 odds. That's really good odds. I mean, if Kevin Holland can't put Ponzinibbio away, he could be in trouble in this fight. And that might be a fun bet to throw 20, 25 bucks on. At plus 400, I mean, you can't really go wrong. And you can even do a killer parlay, do like Masvidal to win by KO or TKO is plus 475. So if you parlay that with Ponzinibbio to win, win a decision at plus 300, I mean, you're going to get crazy juicy odds, like plus 2,000 or something crazy. So I'm going to go with Kevin Holland to win the fight, but Ponzinibbio is a live dog in my opinion, especially with all this BS that's transpired as the week has went on. Okay, my favorite fight of the night is without a doubt Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Rob Font is one of the toughest guys in the division. He's coming off of losses to Marlon Vera and Jose Aldo. I mean, Jose Aldo is a little older when they fought, and he probably should have won that fight. And then he's got wins over Cody Garbrandt and Marlon Moraes, who's looked absolutely terrible as of late. So those two wins have not aged the best. So we'll really get to see where Rob Font is when he fights Adrian Yanez tomorrow night. Adrian Yanez has really good takedown defense. His boxing is super elite, and he's like TKO'd 5 out of his last 6 opponents. He's got 9 wins in a row. I do think Adrian Yanez at some point is going to be a top 5 fighter, and he's going to get those Sean O'Malley fights, the Peter Yan fights, the Corey Sandhagen fights, and maybe eventually a title shot against Aljo or maybe Cejudo if he's the champion. I love him. He's got that tough Mexican spirit. His boxing is relentless. He's going to, go to the center of the octagon and put the pressure on Rob Font the entire fight. In order for Rob Font to survive in this fight, he's really going to have to pump that jab out there and establish that he's not going to give up the center of the octagon. Rob Font has to keep his back off the fence, maybe throw in some takedowns and test Adrian Yanez's takedown defense, and maybe as the fight goes on, he'll be able to pull away. That's, I think, Font's only real path to victory is to get Yanez into that, late second round, third round, tire him out a little bit and kind of grind out a victory. But I really think Adrian Yanez is going to win this fight. I think he's coming in at like minus 185 odds. I think the TKO bet it's alive, but Rob Font is super tough. I'd rather just lay down the minus 185 bet because Rob Font's a guy who's not really easy to get out of there. But Yanez, man, he pretty much TKOs and KOs everyone that he fights. But I love Yanez. I think he's going to be a future champion one day. Hopefully he'll prove me right on Saturday night. Next up, we have the co-main event of the evening. Miami's own Jorge Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns, who is also someone who trains in Florida. But I think all the fans are definitely going to be on Masvidal's side in this one for sure. Masvidal's coming in at he's a plus 300 dog. And I think Gilbert Burns is at minus 425, which is absolutely insane in this fight. But I really think Masvidal is a live dog in this, especially if you're going to lay down. I mean, I think his only way, I don't think he wins a decision in this fight. I think if he does win, it's going to be by TKO or KO, and he's going to finish Gilbert Burns. And that's coming in at plus 475. That's a super juicy bet. But one thing I want to talk to you guys about, which I was watching some tape on the Jorge Masvidal Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight, and Gilbert Burns, when he was losing some of the striking exchanges in that fight, he was taking really long, lazy shots to get into the legs of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And I think Jorge Masvidal could take advantage of that. We all know Jorge has great knees. So if Gilbert Burns starts to lose some of those exchanges on the feet, he might come in for a shot and try to get at Jorge's legs. And if Jorge's smart, he's going to know that it's coming and bang a knee right up the middle. I mean, when he was taking those shots against Wonderboy, he was like, that chin was so exposed, man. If Stephen Wonderboy knew that was coming, man, those knees up the middle could have ended Gilbert Burns' night. And I think that's a great little strategy Jorge needs to use in this fight. If he sees Gilbert Burns coming in for a shot, he shouldn't sprawl. He shouldn't try to stop him from coming in. He should just bang those knees hard up the middle because Gilbert Burns' chin is super exposed when he level changes and he goes down to grab the legs. I mean, I think this is going to be a really exciting fight. I think the fans are going to definitely get their money's worth for this co-main event. It's a shame that it's only 3 rounds instead of 5. I wish it would have been 5. But hey, it's still going to be a great fight, and it's a fight I'm extremely looking forward to. I think that if Jorge Masvidal loses this fight, it might be a picture wrap on him for his career. I don't know. He wants to win the belt, but if he loses this fight, he's going to be 2, if not 3 fights away to even being talked about for title contention. He's 38. Gilbert Burns is 36. So whoever wins this fight is going to be on a trajectory to get a title shot. But whoever loses, their career could be, on the way out. So it's going to be a great fight. I'm going Jorge Masvidal by TKO in this fight. I think he finishes Gilbert Burns. I think Gilbert Burns is going to get 2 excited to get in this hands battle with him, and he's going to get caught. I mean, he's been knocked down 7 times in his career. He's someone who is definitely very hittable, and Jorge Masvidal looks extremely motivated, especially being on his home turf in Miami. The UFC hasn't been to Miami in 20 years. So I think Masvidal is a really interesting bet and a live dog at UFC 287. Last but not least, we have the main event of the evening. For the 4th time, Alex Pereira is fighting Israel Adesanya. Adesanya is 0-2 in kickboxing, even though the first fight a lot of people thought he won and he should have won the decision. The second time he got stopped, and in their first fight in MMA, he was winning the entire fight. I think it was 3 rounds to 1 going into that 5th round. He almost finished him in the first round. He hit him with a nice right hand and a solid little left hook right at the bell. If there was 10, 15 more seconds in that fight, it's over, and we wouldn't even be talking about a rematch. But everyone knows Alex Pereira is always one shot away from ending any fight that he's in. The dude's power is absolutely insane, and it's from the first bell to the last bell in the 5th round. That power translates through all 5 rounds. So, like DC and everyone was saying, like, Izzy's got to fight a perfect fight, because it only takes one strong left hand, and then Izzy's night is completely gone. He was fighting pretty much the perfect fight in that first fight. I mean, he almost finished him in the first round, and then that 5th round came, and Israel Adesanya, the entire fight I was watching, his back is always up against the fence. In order for him to be successful in this fight, he's got to mix in his takedowns, he's got to mix in the clinch work, he's got to mix in some elbows from the clinch, but the main thing he has to do is to keep his back off the fence. Because if Alex Pereira is able to march him down and back him up against the fence, he's not going to be able to get away. There's not enough space for him to miss those shots from Alex Pereira. He's got to keep his back off the fence. I originally, in my first little breakdown, I thought Israel Adesanya was going to win this fight. But man, Pereira is just so goddamn big. I just don't know if Israel Adesanya can be perfect for another 25 minutes and come out victorious in this fight. Because Pereira only has to be perfect for 5-10 seconds to land that big shot. And Israel Adesanya's got to be perfect for almost 25 minutes to win this fight. So I'm switching. I'm going over to the Pereira bandwagon. And he's at plus 110 odds. Alex Pereira as an underdog, plus 110. Give me those odds all day. I think he wins the fight. I think he's going to knock him out again. Let me know in the comments below how you guys think all these fights are going to play out, what fights you're betting on. I really want to know what you guys are betting on so we can maybe come up with some super secret bets no one's talking about. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We just hit 2,500 subscribers. It's so awesome. And I can't wait to watch these fights. They're going to be fucking awesome. The weigh-ins are coming in. I'm going to watch them. I hope you guys tune into my next videos, and thank you so much for all your support, and we'll catch you guys on the next fight.